Well, hey everyone. Now, this is a little different, but I have been somewhat inspired by channels like The Weekly Slap, Flow State, and many others, and over the past year or so, these channels have really given me a lot of comfort and have really made me feel not alone, and I really like the vibe of someone who doesn't really know anything just talking about their experience over footage of some random game, whether that be Call of Duty or Minecraft or The Sims or whatever game. I figured, why not give my perspective on some things? Today I'm going to talk a little bit about growing up, and growing up is a very general term. I don't mean just physically becoming, going from a kid to becoming an adult. I mean growing as a person and changing and learning and going through experiences, and how something that every one of us has to go through can really sometimes be a challenge or not what we expected, or sometimes we can look back and be happy with what we've seen, and sometimes not. I think a lot about where I am now. I've just 2 weeks ago moved off to college, and it is wildly different than what my life was like before. When I was young, for about 12 years, I lived in a very small town, middle of nowhere. Very few people. My graduating class, the graduating class, I didn't graduate with them, had about 25 kids in it, and that's how many were in my class at the time. I was just nearing the end of elementary, because our elementary went through 6th grade there. And we moved. We moved about an hour and a half away to a not quite city, but much, much larger town, where my middle school class had close to 300 kids in it. And honestly, that was terrifying. It was very difficult. I look back and I think that 7th grade year was most likely the most difficult year of my life. We humans we're not wired for change, necessarily, even though we are creatures of change, and everything about life is change. The sun rises and sets every day. Seasons happen every year. We see a summer, a fall, a winter, and then a spring again. That is the state of our universe. It's flow and change. People are born, people die, but for some reason, us as humans, when we get comfortable, we just don't want to see things change. And it was hard for me, as it would be for anyone. That change, having to find who you are again, once again growing in a direction that is unknown. And if anyone out there is feeling like they don't know what they're growing into or where they're going, know that wherever you go, be yourself. And be open to opportunities. Be open to things that you would otherwise not even consider. And go out of your comfort zone, because you will be rewarded for it. I know that from personal experience. As I got into high school, I slowly became more comfortable with who I was. And then the pandemic hit, and that changed everything. I talked to so few people. Even my closest friends I fell out of touch with, and even the relationship at the time I also fell out of touch with, which was very hard during a time where you couldn't see anybody. But slowly, as things returned, and we all went back to school, I found my voice again, and once again, being a junior in high school, I had to grow again with this change and become the newest version of who I was. And I think that's hard for a lot of us, to know that who you are is not going to be who you will be, and that change is a required part of life. But the beautiful thing is that we're all going through it, every single one of us. And we all become our unique best selves through it someday. I don't think growing ends right when you finish college. I don't think it ends when you get your dream job. I really don't think we ever stop growing until we decide to stop. Until we sit down and we're old and gray and we decide, you know what, I don't want to try anymore. But when we do try, things change. Always for the better, I've found. Even if the first time we try, it doesn't work, my final year of high school, I decided to get back into theater, and I loved it. I put myself out there. I'm very shy, and I met so many kind and thoughtful and wonderful people. And you can too, as long as you put yourself out there. And that's hard, and it's hard to know that you're going to someday lose the comfort that you feel around you, but you have to put yourself out there to know that you can find something new that will become your new home, your new comfort. And I'm still searching for that in college, and that's okay. And of course, none of us, not me, not Schlatt from the Weekly Slap, not Flow State, not C Nanners, not any of them, we're all just people trying to figure out our lives and passing on what we've learned. And it takes time, which is really hard. I feel like most of us are creatures of habit, and we want things now. Like, I would love to have the sense of purpose that I had during my final year of high school, and we all have to be patient. I know that I certainly will have to be patient to find that again, but that's life. And I hope that this doesn't all seem very down, like me saying life is constantly going to change, you're not going to be able to keep anything forever, because that's not what it's about. It's about knowing and being comfortable that through all the change that you've experienced, that you will always endure, that you will always grow, and you will keep learning, and you will adapt and become better for it. And that's really powerful. And it's really hope-giving too, during your darkest moments. Anyways, I'm going to stop rambling. I hope that I was able to help somebody, and that everyone out there knows that you are loved. And if you feel like you have no one out there to love you, there is someone. And even if there isn't someone, you can love yourself, because we are all amazing, wonderful, weird creatures. Thank you for watching.